never. I never wanted water once. I never, never, never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let my music take me where my heart wants to go. I sat up on the setting sun. I never, 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 never. I never wanted watch. I never, never, never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let my music take me where my heart wants to go. I swam upon the devil's lake, but never, 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 never. I'll never make the same mistake. I'll never, never, never. Oh, thank you. On behalf of the poets and planners of this, our annual poetry service, welcome. Welcome to People's Church. Whether this be your first time or your 1,000th time, welcome. If you bring a tired heart, welcome. If you bring your fragile and broken heart, welcome. If you bring your open, hopeful heart, welcome. If your heart is angry and hurting, we welcome you too. May your heart, whatever condition it is in, find some comfort, some nourishment here this morning. Welcome.
I'm Matthew Morris McCormick, a member of the Sunday Services Committee. And we have some announcements. The Green Services, the Green Sanctuary Committee invites you to join us following the service to learn from Justin Gish, the City of Kalamazoo's Sustainability Planner, in the last of our series of climate conversations. We welcome the League of Women Voters of the Kalamazoo area as a co-sponsor of these events. Please come to room 19 after church to join us for a light lunch. The conversation will begin at about 12:30 p.m. Justin will bring us up to date about the city's initiatives addressing climate change. Also, the Green Sanctuary Committee invites you to check out our People's Church table at the Rally for Climate Justice in Bronson Park on Friday, April 19th from 4 to 5 p.m., only an hour. That's on Friday, April 19th from 4 to 5 p.m. It's immediately following the march at the Rally for Climate Justice in Bronson Park. As of Friday morning, we have received pledges from 121 People's Church's households, totaling $316,700.83. We are past our total raised last year. Go ahead. And still about $28,000 short of our goal. We still have a few dozen households we are hoping to hear from. If that's you, this is your moment to make a pledge online. Fill out a blank pledge form in the foyer after the service, mail or bring back the form we gave you, or call the church office. Tons of options. This week, Reverend Rachel and Tom Hackley, our church treasurer, will be trying to make the income and expense lines balance in the church budget. Hearing from you about your pledge, even if you cannot pledge this year, will make that task easier. Thank you.
All right, I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening song together. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit. I'm gonna hum this one.
At this point, I would like to invite Oliver Peters Sparling to help me light the chalice. As we light this flame, we commit to begin again with greater awareness, deeper connection, and more love for ourselves, for one another, and for all of life.
I'd love to invite all the kids and anybody who wants to come up for some fun together. What I want to know is, do you guys know what a poem is? What's a poem, Ollie?
I'm a ballerina.
You are a ballerina. That's a great poem. I love that. Does anybody else know anything about what a poem is?
Me.
Well, what about you, Mara?
It's like a story and some of the words rhyme.
Oh, sometimes some of the words rhyme in a story. That's great. Have any of you ever written a poem?
Me.
You have? All right, Lyra. Lyra. What do you want to tell me about poems?
It has a message in it.
Oh, it has a message in it. Oh, these are such good answers. Yes, Ali.
Go and just reminder how why.
Okay, so what I want to do today is I was going to tell you a poem, but then I found the same poem where somebody did some really cool drawings behind it. So instead, I'm going to show you a YouTube video of this poem with some drawings. And I want you to try to think, what is the message that somebody is trying to say in this poem? So we're just going to watch and listen. See that up there?
Is that a movie?
Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans. Candy the yams and spice the hams. And though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings. Coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door. With bacon rinds and chicken bones, droopy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloppy glumps of cold oatmeal, pizza crusts and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burned buttered toast, grisly bits of beefy roasts. The garbage rolled on down the hall. It raised the roof. It broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubbery, blubbery macaroni, peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk and crust of pie, moldy melons, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, cold French fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. At last, the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky. All of the neighbors moved away, and none of our friends would come and play. And finally, Sarah Cynthia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state, from New York to the Golden Gate. And there in the garbage she did hate, poor Sarah met an awful fate that I cannot now relate, because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout, and always take the garbage out.
So what can you tell me about Sarah Sylvia Cynthia Stout about taking the garbage out? What do you got?
She never took the trash out.
She never took the trash out. What do you got, Adam?
Always remember to take the trash.
Always remember to take the trash out. What do you think? The words did rhyme. Sometimes in poems, the words rhyme, but sometimes in poems they don't rhyme, but they did in this one, didn't they? And it had a pretty clear message they were trying to convey. Shel Silverstein is a brilliant poet that does a pretty good job. Lyra?
Don't litter.
Don't litter. Make sure you put it in the garbage and then take the garbage. Has your parents ever asked you to take the garbage out?
Yeah, I think so.
Once a week? So you want to say, okay, I'm going to take it out right now because I don't want the garbage to go all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. All right, well, we're going to head out to our classes now. Thank you.
How about Rena?
Go forth in peace in search of wisdom, with love to guide you on your way. And may the joy of life surround you wherever you may go. Go forth in peace in search of wisdom, with love to guide you on your way. And may the joy of life surround you wherever you may go.
As we approach the time for our offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people who you will never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. Please join me in giving thanks for all that sustains us. From the countless gifts we have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, we bring these small portions, the air inwards of love, which none of us can accomplish alone.
Good morning. I'm Beth Bulmer. We gather this morning not only as individuals, but as a community, and we hold space for one another in that community. This is the time in the service when we have the opportunity for those of us who have greater celebrations or challenges in our lives to bring them forward and share them with one another. So I would invite anyone this morning who's here, who's holding a greater celebration or joy, sorrow, word, story, or poem of their own on the theme of beginning again for the service today. All of those 6-line offerings were then combined and woven into a community poem, amazingly on theme. And it worked out, and the readers who are coming forward today will be reading for the 13 contributors who all put words into the community poem. When we get to the later poets reading, I just want to let everyone know that we'll be playing some music in between our readers. So there's no need for applause in between each poet. If you feel the urge to applaud, you can let everyone know at the end, how you feel about the readings. But we're going to treat that as just a continued service from one poet to the next with a bit of music in between. So thank you.
How do we begin again, though layers of longing own the season? One deer skull found, no jawbone. Where the field burned, green now. Crocuses ache to break the soil, singing their indigo mantra to the early morning frost. Yes, begin again. Don't say when.
Beams dangle in this pink pre-dawn moment, ushered by red-chested robins and yellow-eyed blackbirds to get up, get ready, show up for life. Find the voice for the voiceless, begin again.
Live like you appreciate the chance to greet the chilled murmur of a new day, to build a nest to keep safe our suffering, to be of service, to humble, broken-hearted, still here to learn. I am a rose, even with thorns, offering beauty to others.
Let this beauty lift your life-trodden heart. Easy does it. Though we may not know the path, be willing to wander towards sunlight. Losing our way, we find it in one another. Retirement emptiness, choral singing, fellowship, joy. We begin again together, seeds gathering strength beneath snow in anticipation. Hope spins restive souls to gold.
Go ahead and sing from your seats, or hum along. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return return to the home of your soul.
This is a poem in response to development on Asylum Lake. New development. There are many investments larger than these. We need to imagine that our grandchildren might benefit from looking up into the 100-year giants, or startling a flock of cranes from the field. If not, then carve it up. Pour cement for the metal posts and drive through it. Yet again, erasing words like solace and harmony from your soul. Endings. Before you left, you said that you wanted me to be happy. So I do my best to tend our home, adding color to warm the spirit, replacing rotted boards. My small garden holds the cosmos and the yellow rose. They make me smile. I wear your sweaters to bed on the cold days, make the puffed pancake we were so proud of. There are rooms for others, guests who bring stories and help cook delicious food. Some of them even tend my soul. But everyone always goes, ready or not. Even the happiest children have left in tears and seem to know best about endings. Love always raises us up, entreats us, a thought, an urge, a deed, but often a dance, catching you up, turning you. As large as a forming star, as humble as you, pressing your cheek into mine. Oh, spring, such an invitation to witness this extravagant turn. Please tell me again, leave your grief behind. And that if you plant this sequoia seed today, you could save the planet, end a war, all in one sweeping gesture. This love is a shield carved with the names of all your prophets. It will relegate fear to its proper place. What else is there to do today but hand you tender messages of hope, sealed with magenta and pearl, ivory and tangerine? Tear the wrappings from this gift. Love will sit with you and listen for your sigh for as long as it takes to be at peace with your world.
Good morning. This poem is entitled Bloomfield. We lost the field behind our house, 4 wild acres, in city glitch, in truth not ours to lose. We laid claim nonetheless to our patch of urban Eden, tenuous and lush, tucked just beyond the north fence. Centennial plot, the Bloom family's pride, untamed and safe from change, they vowed. Margaret, the matriarch, mowed a path with her tractor so we could run our dog. We ambled. Rufus whirled among the scents. Wildlife emerged from woods nearby: deer, coyote, fox, raccoons, turkeys. We timed appearances, observed behavior, kept our distance. The creatures watched us undaunted, like silent sentinels. Prairie plants tangled to blanket the rolling turf. On windy days, pollen peppered the air, dodging insects on parade. Our field flourished in gentle contrast to the man-made bustle at its fringes, sylvan calm and urban din juxtaposed, a fragile peace precarious in this age of growth and greed. Margaret passed suddenly at 84, her field ceded to a distant heir. Neighbors coalesced to buy the land, to keep it wild as Margaret's legacy. Our pleas ignored, the parcel sold to a developer in a week. Margaret's house raised in 2 hours. Milkweed, goldenrod, Queen Anne's lace plowed under in a day. Animal tracks crushed by earth-moving beasts, glazed in lime green and blaze orange. After a time, our angst abated. City dwellers by choice, we knew the field existed on borrowed time. Autumn crest splays over the land now, its condos tidy and trim. But in the nooks of our memory, grasses sway and critters romp. Our field, Margaret's field, in perpetual bloom. Virginia's legacy. After school on April 30th, for 20 years, she locked her classroom and drove back roads away from town. The trunk of her car stocked with boots, buckets, cutters, and water jugs. She picked an off-road parking spot, donned forager's gear, and set off to tramp through mucky meadows, vault jumbles of downed trees, squish along soppy stream banks, no brakes until she spied cowslips, yellow clusters cloaked in green, lemony pops of spring poking up proud through moss and mud. Amidst the huddled blooms, she mourned the pruning rite, but eased her guilt by picturing the glee of 25 wide-aisled 5-year-olds tucking blossoms into May baskets for their mothers, a tradition from her own mother passed to 500 children and glad families over 20 years. Virginia died 2 decades before her spouse. For as long as health allowed, he trekked to those spongy marshes and gathered flowers on April 30th. For a dozen May days, with reverence and a gentle hand, he laid cowslips on her grave, unpretentious laurels of love, sunny tributes to an honored life.
My poem is titled, Let Go of What Pains You. My heart won't let go. I know I am better off, but how to do it? How to break things off? How to know the unknown? How to start healing? How to still love them, but leave them a good person who stays in the past? This is what life gives, and for wisdom I might need, I make poetry.
I have 2 poems to share this morning. The Art of Detachment. Fill your pockets with everything sacred and step outside. Walk away from your home, door wide open behind you. Consider neither direction nor destination. Now begin. Pulling items one by one, finger them with the last of your longing. Unfold your grasp, let them fall. Breadcrumbs for a hungry God. Drop Nana's passed down pearl, Dad's diamond chip, his harmonica from before the war, Mother's frosted coral lipstick, drawstring pouch of wooden Scrabble tiles, pack of pinochle cards. Release Petoskey stones collected from Sutton's Bay, polished agate and jasper, tree bark from Bronson Park, corner-clipped jack of diamonds, coal-eyed queen of hearts, platinum band embracing brilliant sapphire. Let go, the lovers who have held you, every brush of lips, palm pressed, rhythm of heartbeat on skin. Forget the name your mother gave you, whatever song you called each of your children, baby hair tied with bows. The greedy wind will take them all. Notice the scattered hats of acorns littering the road without a single oak in sight. Examine the empty nests rotting in the withered limbs of barren apple trees. Everything once necessary and precious left behind. Your pockets empty. Sunlight slipping into deeper dusk. When all paths seem unfamiliar, stop and turn around. There's always more than one way home. Mortality for beginners. Remember that time is a circle. Pull purple petals from flushed puffs of clover. Begin counting. Lay in long grass, allowing ants to mount the obstacle of your body. No matter how you hurry, you will always land exactly where you are. 2, you will likely take it all for granted. Study dandelions, the way their brilliant cadmium heads lust after yellow, then long to be everything everywhere, mapping the universe before bursting the constellations of their faces to pursue eternity. 3, at some point, you will want to live forever. Even fallen leaves remain to play out their full and final decay. The mineral core of human bone hollows with age. Like a drying gourd, we persistently shake at the sun, praying to dance just one more day. 4, it will be excruciating. The living through it all. People you love littered like limbs in your wake, as if you were a hurricane, as if you never meant to carry everyone, always. No one learns to say goodbye gracefully. We are compelled. 5, there are things you will say you can never pull back. Sound is not solid as rope thrown into heaven to lasso God. It lingers, elusive, loops its frequency forever, flicking past galaxies, seeking stars so dark even memory dies, the only place our words cease to matter. 6, when you get lost, which is not possible, go outside and listen to stars. Their subtle hum will guide you home. It may sound like the song you heard in your head as a child, gush of ocean swallowing shores of silky sand. This is your ancestors singing it back to remind you where you began.
This poem is called Antic. A bunch of us never came back. 10% at most of our number, expendable ones, sent out to spend the dregs of their account at the grocer. Time was before we grew lean with these new antebellum tensions. The bunch brought home the bacon till we all grew fat and sassy. That day when they failed to filter back from the wilderness, we imagined the worst. They'd cut us out, squatting on the bounty. Our scouts, 5%, no more, throwaways, versed in tracing marked trails, reported worse than worst. The grocer massacred the vanguard bunch with a punch and scrape of a leathery foot and moved his store to higher ground. Scouts, honor. The word straight from the mouth of the lofted pantry was, our folk might sniff around all they liked, but to carry off the goods they must pay their way. That's where the prime commerce drew the line. No fine distinctions for our kind. A bunch of us was no less than all when it came to offense. 10%, 99, 1, 50. No moiety signified this to sort customer from vermin, tradesman from thief. We could starve and serve us right, Her Majesty down to the last babe in arms, for all the grocer cared if we lacked the wherewithal to cash out. Step to step we marched en masse, an arduous climb, but the man upstairs wanted none of us, stamping out our feelers scout by scout. We took a giant fall to the far below. Talk about wilderness. Our idea before couldn't hold a candle to the bad lands beyond the walls. Rocks, tall grass, wind, rain, hungry squads, scowling cousins, progeny of our antecedents, jealous of their squatters' rights, prodding us for prowlers, slackers, moochers. Wherever we winded, they closed their borders. 5% we sent far and wide. We ceased calling scouts, but applicants. For they applied sweeteners here, gentle pinches there, spritzes of formic anywhere, whatever it took to get a foot in the door, leavening the acid of our nature. Lo and behold, our last 0.5% of applicants, the rest meeting with foul play, came back recounting hit by dumb luck, with an enclave made to accommodate dying broods such as us, without prejudice. No antipathies whatsoever. As early intelligence had it, enclave managers would be pleased to fit us in among thinned and lost broods, to house us one and all, lock, stock, and barrel, each variant from Her Majesty to shop girl. To settle in such safe harbor makes for a fitting epitaph for a bunch of us that never came back. This poem comes from the Lake Superior State's list of banished words, this year's list. Trust a word to bring riz to bear, slay, and slip earthly chains iconic, to widen impact with a wild hack at the ineffable. And yet, wait for it, by a twist of particles, side hustle, by a superior shimmy of string at the end of the day, by a state of spin strangely obsessed, to jump in the lake at year's end, cringe-worthy.
but I like it. I love this title, the theme of To Begin Again, and it prompted me to think about how the words of others have inspired me to begin again, a poem or an essay, words of philosophy, where I take a smidge away and go, I can do that, I can try that, and I'm inspired and maybe even change. This poem is about the time I failed at that, reading a great author, kind of a self-help, K.D. Singh. And the poem is entitled, Reading K.D. Singh in the Air. And the epigraph is, opening, allowing, letting go. We increase the chances of freeing our awareness to enter into a timeless present beyond self. That's K.D. Singh. Oh, I got this. I am so letting go. My ego behind. I am in the presence of a timeless presence. I'm so present. My awareness, so free. I've read the book. I've let go. I win. Book closed. Life changed. Fine flight. Then a man, wearing a red hat, orders another drink, rudely gruff, mean. He talks even louder after the second drink. I smolder. I spill my Coke, swear under my breath, apologize to the person in the window seat. Wish I had the window seat. We circle the airport. The captain notifies us we will circle some more. I miss my connection. Stupid runway, stupid plane. The lady next to me shifts her arm onto my armrest. My armrest? She should use the one on her left, stupid armrest. And then I write a poem with no insight, but 14 eyes. My ego gone? Nope. It's clearly time to land. This second poem is inspired by this time of year when everything in nature begins again. And I'm always so inspired by the wasps, bees, and birds that they build these amazing nests and they start over every year. Very few of them use the same nest, you may know. And this one was inspired by a very large bald-faced hornet's nest that appeared in our yard a couple of years ago. I entitled it, The Bargain. I saw your beginning in May, one tiny chamber at a time, growing like a marble, a walnut, a baseball, attached to the branch by your personal glue. Your perfect gray paper covers the chambers of your work with subtle stripes pulled from my world. Gray from the siding, white from the trim, brown from the woodpile. I mow around your shadowy reminder to stay away, grass growing tall in a circle of safety. Now, in August, you own that tree. Claim the yard. I left you, didn't I? No spray, no exterminator. You have given me a living sculpture. Bald-faced hornet's nest in our variegated beach, watermelon size at eye level. Next to the driveway, you frighten our friends. They walk a wide circle to reach the door.
Options. Make room for the quiet. Hear its whisper. Let it in. Slow down the race within you. If you never stop, you can't begin. There are two ways to grow in fortune. You can amass the things you're looking for, or give gratitude for what you have until what you have becomes more. There are possibilities you haven't considered. You must look beyond the obvious. Whether you've been having too much fun or living your life with too much caution, don't let your habits be your only options. Mind what goes into your body. Consider the content you put in your head. The modern world is built to distract you. You must learn to focus to move ahead. Share your gifts with friends and strangers. Try to be kinder to yourself. The work you see that needs to be done won't likely be done by anyone else. If the person you have always been doesn't align with the future you are wanting, don't let your habits be your only options.
Since the 5th grade, I've been listening to my friend wax philosophic about life. So the works of Billy Shakespeare that I'm about to read are a bit of a curation of that long, long conversation. He can be a little bit raw, but he is a whole lot poetic. And I've curated from him for you. Last year, they sugared off the maples by Valentine's Day. This year, spring is so late that the sap stayed in the trees far longer than usual. Factoid: this makes the sugar content really high. Michigan's pure maple syrup will be the best in a decade. I will send you some so you'll have the taste of home where you are now, Billy Shakespeare, living in a hotel apartment with thin towels in Texas. Billy Shakespeare hates the term residence hotel. Currently, he's sleeping with Harper Lee and a banjo that knows all the old-timey tunes. He sends me random texts. They say life is a comedy for those who think and a tragedy for those who feel. Shoot low, Sheriff, he's riding a Shetland. Billy's known hard times, lots of hard times. This makes him fairly intolerant of the millennials who find adulting too challenging. Sympathy. He wants sympathy. You'll find it between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. He's never funnier than when he's ready to snap somebody's neck. To wit, after this life is over, if it turns out we were put through all this pain and suffering to learn some vague lesson that could have been easily taught on a Saturday morning with a syllabus and a couple of handouts, I'm kicking God in the dick. He spent last night in a truck with 2 extremely progressive lesbians from Bastrop, the only place in Texas where they used to have decent trees before the fire. They stayed at a concert to the very end and were too tired to drive back, so they all slumped over in his truck. Next morning, they stopped for coffee in Dime Box, where the old-timers were already setting up the dominoes. Reading the coffee grounds in the bottom of his cup, Billy predicted the waitress was madder than a rat in a coffee can at the cook. The land is starved down here. Loneliness and despair just coming up over the horizon. Well, you're not missing much, I write back. Just a wet blanket of a morning in Michigan. Forecast calls for 50 and raining, or is that my horoscope? Hell, if he had a do-over, he'd trade the whole damn Republic of Texas for a 1/4 acre of Ogemaw County in October. If he closes his eyes, he can smell the wet side of leaves from canoe birch, poplar, oak, and beech matted into a crazy quilt across the floor of the forest. If a man could just make a decent living listening for apples to drop, if he could just come home again.
This is a song I wrote a couple years ago. It's all about family and friends and love. Let me take a minute to talk about the hours we danced upon the hillside among the wildflowers, along the swollen river on endless summer days, dreaming of forever as time just slipped away. Let me take a minute to talk about the days and special celebrations we had along the way. Genevieve's first birthday, Dylan's school play, Shauna's graduation, and Colin's wedding day. Let me take a minute just to say it's been lovely having you along the way. Let me take a minute to talk about the years we built a life together, despite the doubts and fears. With faith in one another, we climbed aboard that ride and made it safely home again to each other's side. Let me take a minute just to say it's been lovely having you with me each step along the way. Now December is upon us. It's time to make a toast to family, friends, and loved ones, and those we miss the most. As we count our many blessings, I think you will agree our love shines even brighter than the star upon the tree. As we count our many blessings, I think you will agree our love shines even brighter than the star upon the tree.
Oh, wait. You shall have your applause. I'd like to read from former U.S. Poet Laureate Ted Kooser a poem in closing called Applause, and you can knock yourselves out at the end of it for all who have participated today. Applause. A woman who came to the concert knowing the music by heart is the first to applaud, informing the rest of us as to which of the chords was really the final one. And so the rest of us fall in behind her, beginning to clap, pretending we too knew where the concerto ended. But we're being polite by waiting a few seconds longer, as if to let the beauty soak in, though now we clap and clap and clap and clap, and then stop clapping and turn to our overcoats crushed into the back of the seats. But oh dear God, a man in the front row has leapt to his feet and with frenzied applause is shaming us into the standing ovation. And now from the back comes a bravo. And then from one side and another, bravo, bravo. All of us now on foot, clapping like crazy, clapping in mass hysteria, hollering goofy things like, huzzah, wondering if we will ever get home. The musicians beginning to wonder, too, when to walk off and whether they'll have to troop back for an encore, glancing around for direction while bowing and bowing and bowing and bowing. And now the conductor is stepping aside with a swish of his tails and is pointing at this one and that one, while all of us on throbbing legs would like to discreetly pluck our underwear out of our bottoms and walk under the stars to our cars. But now, phew, at last, it is ending. The clapping is dying, one clap at a time, the way a pan of popcorn quits popping. And people are turning away now, dropping their scarves around their necks, helping each other put on their hats and coats while the programs slide down and away through the cracks at the backs of the seats, never again to be pressed to our hearts. May you have heard something to press to your heart today, and may I ask all the poets and our musician to stand for your applause in celebration of poetry service at Peoples. Thank you. Go now in peace and go in love.